also triggering protests and calls for police reform. Tadarius Bean, Demetrius Haley, and Justin Smith have pled not guilty to charges that they deprived Nichols of his rights through excessive force and failure to intervene, and obstructed justice through witness tampering. Others involved in the beating death of Tyree Nichols have already pled guilty. Some of the former officers are facing up to 40 years in prison. A Washington Post poll finds that the commitment of Black Americans, like several just folks that they've included in this poll, are likely to vote this fall for Vice President Kamala Harris. And these numbers have rebounded since VP Harris replaced Joe Biden as the Democratic nominee, with Black voters unifying around her candidacy. The poll of over 1,000 Black Americans find that 69% say they are absolutely certain to vote in November. Now, that's up from 62% in April, still lower than the 74% who made a similar statement in June of 2020. But Harris's gains have been pronounced among Black Americans as well as the general public. And Vice President Kamala Harris and former President Donald Trump are set to face off in their first debate tomorrow night. That's Tuesday. This debate was far from a foregone conclusion, with both candidates signaling unhappiness with some of the terms before reaching an agreement last week. Trump has been preparing by having meetings with and getting foreign policy coaching from allies, including former Secretary of State Mike Pompeo, and an interesting character, former Democratic Representative Tulsi Gabbard, has also been consulting with Donald Trump. Kamala Harris, in the meanwhile, has been participating in mock debates with Philippe Reines, who also played Trump during Hillary Clinton's debate prep in 2016. And for all the attacks that they have exchanged, Harris and Trump have never met. Their debate tomorrow night is likely to draw the largest audience for either candidate before November. And both sides agree that the face-off hosted by ABC News carries unusually high stakes, given the campaign's compressed timetable and the fact that polls have Harris up, although within the margin of error. And Democratic Vice Presidential nominee Tim Walz is stumping today in Texas and Nevada, while Second Gentleman Doug Emhoff and Minnesota's First Lady Gwen Walz are campaigning in North Carolina. And let's just say LA for the win, because rapper Kendrick Lamar will headline the Super Bowl halftime show in New Orleans. The NFL announced this on Sunday. This is what Kendrick Lamar had to say. Rap music is still the most impactful genre to date, and I'll be there to remind the world why. They got the right one. Those are some big words from Kendrick Lamar, who's 37 years old. And is seen as one of the most decorated rappers in history. Well, not just seen, he actually is. He has 17 Grammy Awards and 29 BET Awards. He also won a Pulitzer Prize for music in 2018. Now, he was the first musician to win outside of the classical or jazz genres. So it's going to be on and popping at the Super Bowl this year with Kendrick Lamar. And Kamala Harris is looking to neutralize a vulnerability that has jeopardized her prospects since she replaced Joe Biden as the Democratic presidential nominee. And that happens to be what she's trying to neutralize is this frustration that many Americans have over high prices, whether it's gas prices, which happen to be coming down, or prices at restaurants or grocery stores. And Kamala Harris has a solution. She's been talking about the opportunity economy and talking about knowing what it's like to have high prices in the grocery stores and in restaurants. And she's laid out a plan to address the economy that even Wall Street types like those at Goldman Sachs say is better for the economy than any of the plans put forth by Donald Trump. And after a 6-week summer recess, lawmakers returned to the Capitol today, facing a changed political landscape, but a vexing and very familiar problem. That is figuring out how to avert a government shutdown. Congress people have just 3 weeks to do so. Funding for the government runs out at the end of the fiscal year, and that's on September 30th. And we know that Donald Trump is urging Republicans to force a shutdown, that is, of the government, unless certain demands are met. And those demands have to do with some very extreme policies related to the border, gun control, and even some abortion issues. Now, a shutdown would close federal agencies and national parks while limiting public services and furloughing millions of workers just before the election. This is the news of the day, and this is Areva Martin in real time, and I'm your host, Areva Martin. This is your one-stop destination for today's trending news, expert analysis, and my unfiltered opinions. In this hour, I'm joined by Dr. Carlos Hill. He is a professor at the University of Oklahoma, as well as Isaac Wilson. Isaac is a Democratic strategist and chair of the Democratic Party of Florence County, South Carolina. In hour two, we're going to be talking to the organizers of the South Asian Zoom call for Kamala Harris. Now, on this show, we've talked to the organizers of the White Women for Kamala Harris. Last week, we had Jakarta Edie. She is the African-American woman responsible for the Zoom call organized for Win with Black Women. She's just announced today that on September 19th, Win with Black Women are going to be partnering up with Oprah Winfrey and about 140,000 grassroots organizations so that they can continue to do what they do, which is organizing millions and millions of people for this Kamala Harris and Tim Walz's campaign. And also, I forgot, we also had one of the organizers of the Black Men for Kamala on. That's Michael Blake. He's a former legislator from the state of New York. So we've been talking to all of the organizers of these Zoom calls. So it's only fitting that today we're going to talk to the organizers of the South Asian for Kamala Harris Zoom call. They had about 12,000 South Asian Americans and friends on a call where they raised about $350,000 and were able to get 500 folks to sign up to volunteer for the campaign. Areva Bhargava, who is the organizer of that call, she's an activist. She was also a delegate at the DNC. She and I actually sat next to each other on the floor many nights. She's going to join us to talk about what South Asian Americans are doing to make sure that Kamala Harris gets elected. Joining her in hour two is Tanbir Chowdhury. He's a campaign strategist, and he is the president of They See Blue New York, also the director of public affairs and communications for New York Assemblywoman, a New York Assembly person. Tanbir and Areva have been working for Democratic candidates for a long time, both of them career Democratic strategists and activists. Going to talk to them about what they are hearing and seeing on the ground, particularly because we know that Indian Americans are now the largest population among Asian Americans. This is according to a recent U.S. Census survey. And the battleground states, Arizona, Georgia, Nevada, Michigan, all have relatively large Indian American communities that could be pivotal in the race come November. Georgia alone has 7 lawmakers of Asian American descent from both parties. So we know that in states like those that are critical to this election, Indian Americans, Asian Americans are going to play a key role. So I'm going to talk to Areva and Tanbir about what they are doing to make sure that those Indian Americans are mobilized and will turn out big for Harris and Walz. So make sure you stick around for hour two, because we're going to go deep on what's happening in the Asian American community and how they're also partnering with groups like Win with Black Women and other grassroots organizations, because we know in order to win in November, we need Obama 2008 turnout. And the only way we get that kind of turnout is with strong coalitions. So we're going to make sure you stick around to hear what these folks are doing to make sure all that's possible. And also make sure you tune into KBLA Talk 1580 tomorrow night, 6 p.m., because the station is going to go live with coverage of the presidential debate. Former President Donald Trump, Vice President Kamala Harris will be meeting for the first time ever, not just on a debate stage. They haven't even met each other in person, so they're going to meet. It's going to be one of the most watched debates, we think, of this political season. And then following that 90-minute debate, the debate will be on for 90 minutes. There's going to be an opportunity to get the automatic and the in real-time responses from folks who are gathering at the KBLA headquarters in Leimert Park in Los Angeles. And our very own Dominique DePrima and Tavis Smiley will host what they're calling a talk back session with a live audience who will be watching the debate at the Leimert Park Studios. So again, you can tune in to the debates tomorrow right here on KBLA at 6 p.m. Stay through the whole 90 minutes and then get some of the feedback from the audience who will be at the station. So make sure you check out the KBLA viewing party for the debate. I'm going to be joining some of my fellow delegates, Democratic delegates from the great state of California. We're all going to be gathered at a different viewing party, watching the debates. I'll be giving some commentary as well on what I see in that debate. Then, of course, tomorrow we'll be talking with some experts about the debate, and then we'll be following up on Wednesday post-debate. So this station has you covered for the debate, as all of our politically focused shows will be focused on the debate and bringing you those experts to help you make sense of this debate. But before I bring on my guests, here's what I'm thinking in real time. Most of you probably have gotten the news that James Earl Jones, an actor whose thundering Old Testament voice and commanding presence established him as one of the generation's most indelible performers, whether it was in a Shakespearean tragedy or the Star Wars franchise or a Disney animated classic. James Earl Jones was the man. Unfortunately, he died today in his home in the state of New York, and he died at the age of 93 years old. And I know no matter what age people die, we always feel like, we didn't have enough time with them. But this man accomplished so much. He used his life in such an amazing way during the 9 decades plus 3 that he was blessed to be on this earth. We don't know the cause of the death as of yet, but again, he's a 93-year-old man. But Mr. Jones, wow, what a character. I mean, he was so well established in both Hollywood and on Broadway. He was a tall man, 6'2". Think about that voice and then just his physical stature. He was raised on a farm in Mississippi and then in Michigan. He spent 8 years, they say, mute to hide a stammer. Yes, James Earl Jones, the actor whose voice is so commanding, his presence is so commanding, actually had a stammer. He discovered his love of performing in high school. He did this when a teacher who was trying to get him to be more vocal, to get him to be more outgoing, called on him to recite a few lines of poetry composed by Mr. Jones himself. He was just 14 years old when he was shocked at the sudden confidence that he had in his voice. And he said, look, the written word is safe for the stutterer. And he went on to realize that a script was indeed a sanctuary for him. His career spans 7 decades. He has hundreds and hundreds of credits on the stage and screen. He has earned the admiration from folks around the globe, really, for his humanity and his charisma that he brought to the characters that he played. He belonged to this rarefied cadre of performers who received Tony, Emmy, Grammy, and Oscar awards. They call them EGOTs now. He's won every major award for performing artists. He won an honorary Oscar in 2011, citing his legacy of consistent excellence and uncommon versatility. Wow. I mean, I could go on and on about so many things that he appeared in, so many things that he did the voiceover for his resume, not only with film and television and Broadway productions, but also with commercials. He did promos for even cable news stations like CNN. He was the voice that used to say, "This is CNN." Obviously a bad rendition, but you get my point. He just was so prolific in everything that he touched and everything that he did. We are honored to have had him in our midst for so long. We will send prayers, light, and love to his remaining family members, to his fans around the world. His legacy indeed will live on forever. James Earl Jones, dead at the age of 93. When we come forward, more of today's breaking and trending news right here on KBLA Talk 1580. Stay with us.
You're listening to Areva Martin in real time on KBLA Talk 1580. Tabitha Smiley's new book, The Covenant with Black America, 20 years later, is now on sale everywhere. This classic text shot to #1 on the New York Times bestsellers list almost 2 decades ago. If you have the original book, you will surely want to get this 20th anniversary edition with powerful new contributions from today's leading voices. This 20th anniversary edition presents a compelling blend of historical insights and contemporary urgency in this critical and unprecedented election year. Get your copy of The Covenant with Black America 20 years later today. You're listening to KBLA Talk 1580, where climate is king. Climate is king.
Good morning, Doctor. Doctor? Hi, Doctor. Doctor?
Dr. Jackson's practice is growing.
What do you mean we're still short-staffed?
He needs a good patient doctor.
How do we not have enough doctors to doctor all these patients?
And he doesn't have the patience to sift through hundreds of resumes.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, it's easier for talented candidates to find it, which makes it easier for you to hire them. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
At Lowe's, save big every day when you buy in bulk. Save 10% when you buy a pallet or more of select concrete mix. And there's more. Save up to 25% when you buy a pallet or more of select drywall panels. Plus, get free same-day delivery to the job site when you order by 2 p.m. Because Lowe's knows pros. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. Discount taken at time of purchase. See sales associate for details. Exclusions apply. See Lowe's.com/same-day delivery for details.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. Stay Housed LA has the resources you need to know your rights and the legal support to back them up. The COVID-19 pandemic has cost people their jobs and livelihoods. This has left an estimated 1/3 of households not being able to make rent and facing losing their homes. This is a fear no one in our community should have to face. You have rights, though, and Stay Housed LA is here to help. Stay Housed LA is a partnership between the County of Los Angeles, the City of Los Angeles, and local community and legal service providers. Together, they provide tenants with the information and support needed to exercise their rights so they can remain safely in their homes. Find out more about your rights by participating in a virtual tenant workshop. Get the legal assistance you need. Find additional resources in Los Angeles County and the City of Los Angeles. Stay connected to Stay Housed LA County for updates. This and more at stayhousedla.org. Stay connected to Stay Housed LA for updates. This and more at stayhousedla.org. That's stayhousedla.org. Or call their hotline at 213-694-0040. We've got your black with a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
We are back, and Isaac Wilson and Dr. Carlos Hill are joining me in this hour. And in hour 2, we're going to be talking to the organizer of the South Asian American call for Kamala Harris. We've been talking about these Zoom calls and how they're changing the game for this election. We've talked to the organizers of the Black Men for Harris, the Black Women for Harris, White Women for Harris. So today we're talking to the organizer of the Asian Women for Harris, to check in on what she is seeing on the ground, particularly in those battleground states where they know Asian voters are growing rapidly and can play a pivotal role in terms of who wins or loses in November. So make sure you stick around for hour 2. But let me ask you this, Isaac. With Biden no longer in the race, Trump now would be the oldest person ever to serve in the Oval Office. But his rambling, incoherent public statements haven't gotten the same kind of attention that we know Biden's, when he, mispronounced names or got folks confused. So much attention was on Joe Biden. But tomorrow on that debate stage, we're going to see what we know to be a rambling speech or, comments from Donald Trump, incoherent statements, probably extreme outbursts, and probably signs of his declining cognitive health. And the question is, will voters have the same reaction when they see Donald Trump in the same or similar vein as many believe they witnessed Joe Biden to be in?
Simply put, Areva, no. Voters will not give him the same thing they gave Joe Biden. They held Joe Biden to a higher standard. And I don't know why they hold Democrats to a higher standard, but it seems the bar is so low for Republicans that they expect this from Republicans. So it's just Donald Trump. That's just what he does. And so it's the same thing with his policies. He has none. He talks about none. So they don't want to hear his policies, but they hold Kamala to the same thing. Let's see her policies. We'll do the same thing in Donald Trump. But tomorrow night, we'll be able to have that contrast that people need to see, and it will be totally different. And if you go out and still say you're voting for him after tomorrow, then we're in trouble. But you'll see that stark contrast tomorrow night for sure.
Yeah, I think Isaac is right. Obviously, Trump gets. Oh, I think we've lost Carlos. We're going to try to get Dr. Hill back. So it's going to be you and me, Isaac, until we get Dr. Hill back. You're right. Kamala has been trashed by the media for not sitting down with one-on-one interviews. She's been trashed for not having, quote unquote, laid out sufficiently her policies. And Donald Trump gets held to such a different standard. But you're right. Tomorrow, he's got a challenge on his hands. He's got to be the energetic, guy that he says was able to be the president, take the job on, even though he'll be 82 if he is elected. And the whole age thing got turned on his head because we spent all this time talking about Joe Biden being fit for the job. Should there be cognitive tests, et cetera, et cetera. And here we are with this Donald Trump who appears to be losing. I mean, cognitively kind of before our very eyes, but yet we don't see the press taking him on in the same way that they do Kamala Harris. What are you going to be looking for beyond, his kind of rambling comments that he makes? Do you expect this to be a substantive debate where either party gets to really go into depth in any kind of, with regards to any of their policies, economic, healthcare, et cetera?
I think Donald Trump won't allow it to go there. I think Donald Trump's going to interrupt. Even when you're on that stage, you can still hear people, talking to you. So I think he's not going to let it get there. He wants to ramble and he wants her to get befuttered. But I think Kamala is going to try her best tomorrow night to get her policy.
All right.
All about for it. So
yeah. It's interesting, Dr. Hill, you're back. We're talking about, thank you for joining us today. We're talking about the politics of age.
Yeah.
Donald Trump spent, the last 4 years beating up on Joe Biden. He's too old. He's feeble. He's in cognitive decline. And now all of a sudden, he's the old guy on the stage. He's the guy that mispronounces names, gets people confused, makes rambling statements, incoherent statements. But he doesn't seem to get the same level of scrutiny when he does exactly the same things that he accused Biden of doing.
Areva, thank you for having me again on the show. I am so sorry for my technical difficulty, but I am here, dear sister. And let me tell you, yes, Donald Trump will try to turn around her youth, make her youth a liability, say she's inexperienced, say she's a radical, say that everything that America doesn't want, she wants. He's going to try to pin that on her because of her youth, try to turn his experience or lack thereof, his age, into an asset. I know. She doesn't. She's too, and it won't work because what you just said about who he is going to play for all of America. The same thing that derailed Biden should derail him. Let's see if it does.
Yeah, one of the things we also know about Donald Trump is he has honed a playbook of explicitly gender attacks in clashes with female candidates and journalists. He can't seem to help himself. Whenever he is in a conversation or interview or debate with female candidates, and we remember the kind of creepy trolling thing he did on the stage with Hillary Clinton, it's going to be interesting to see what, if anything, he tries to do. We know it's going to be something, whether it's a physical kind of intimidation by, standing too close, walking behind, or whether it's just verbal assaults. We know that is his game. That's how he tries to unnerve whomever he's dealing with, whether it's a journalist or a candidate. Tries to cause them to be, thrown off their game. Not likely to work with Kamala Harris, but we should be looking for it. Also, when we come forward, I'm talking about the lies that we know Donald Trump is going to tell on that stage, because they're already telling these lies in literature that's being sent around to voters in swing states. Lies that attach Kamala Harris to policies that she has absolutely positively nothing to do. What are we expecting to see in terms of fact checking in real time during the debate tomorrow? Stay with us, KBLA Talk 1580, when we come forward.
Time. More of Areva Martin in real time when we come forward.
I'm Amber Payton. Here's the latest on the Black Information Network. Senator Raphael Warnock is pushing back against Republican vice presidential candidate J.D. Vance's comments on last week's school shooting in Georgia. In an interview with CNN State of the Union, the Georgia Democrat said such shootings are not a fact of life, as Vance claimed. Warnock, who is Black, insisted Americans must ask themselves why such tragedies only happen in the U.S. His comments come after a teenage gunman killed 2 students and 2 teachers at Appalachia High School outside of Winder, Georgia on Wednesday. Dozens of after-school programs are getting a financial boost from the D.C. government. Black Mayor Muriel Bowser announced $25 million in grants to 125 nonprofit groups. The city estimates the grants will help 15,000 D.C. students enjoy after-school programming throughout the school year. More information about those programs is available online at learn24.dc.gov. That's the latest. I'm Amber Payton on your home for 24/7 News, the Black Information Network, and BINnews.com.
Watch for heavy traffic delays coming from Boyle Heights from the 5-101 interchange due to a stall blocking the right lane of the 10 West after Highway 60. In Glendale on the 134 East before San Fernando Road, watch for a backup running heavy from Forest Lawn Drive as an accident remains on the right shoulder. And be advised for those in Trabuco Canyon, there is over 275 acres currently burned, and this is due to a fire that is burning uphill towards Santiago Peak. Right now, there are no news of any evacuations, but delays will continue between Plano, Trabuco Drive, and Rose Canyon Road in both directions until further notice.
Hi, I'm Kyle at Blindster.com. At Blindster, we offer custom-made faux wood and real wood blinds and shutters, cellular shades, Roman shades, bamboo shades, exterior shades, and more, all at factory direct prices. Don't pay too much for new blinds. Go to Blindster.com.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
What happened Sunday morning to Miami Dolphins wide receiver Tyreek Hill should be a major reality check for Black athletes around the country. No matter how much of a celebrity you may be, no matter how many millions you have in your bank account, in the eyes of law enforcement, you are still a Black man in America. Hill was a few blocks away from Hard Rock Stadium in Miami when he was pulled over by Miami-Dade police for a traffic violation. 2 hours before the Dolphins game against the Jacksonville Jaguars, Hill was in handcuffs. Moments later, still in handcuffs, he was forced to the ground face down. To the 4 or 5 officers at the scene, Hill was not an electrifying all-pro receiver. Hill was cited for reckless driving and eventually released. He had 7 catches for 135 yards, including an 80-yard touchdown catch in the Dolphins' win. After the game, when all the cheering had ended, Hill was reminded that he's still a Black man in America. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
Tavis is under attack. I can't get his radio station on my transistor. I'm getting the agent station that he's right around, but they're not letting KBLA 1580 come in. I'm not getting the Black man. So let Tavis know he's under attack. Cyber attack, racist attack, fascist attack, but he's under attack. And they doing something to disrupt his radio station so they won't get the truth out to us.
Hey, it's Tavis. We appreciate all that love, let me tell you, because we may very well be under attack. on all sides. Just because you don't believe in conspiracy theories don't mean they ain't after you. But in reality, sometimes stuff happens with the signal from the studio to the tower, which sends our programming to your car, home, office, or your transistor radio. But when you download the KBLA 1580 app, the sound is clear as a bell. All day, all night, anywhere in the world, from Los Angeles to Lagos. So, we love all of our listeners, no matter how you hear us. But when you download the KBLA 1580 app and hear that richness, you'll wonder why you didn't do it sooner. But don't take my word for it. Download the KBLA 1580 app right now. I'm Tavis Smiley, and I approve this message.
Oh, man. Looks like Bobby needs a ride to the airport again.
Grab the keys.
Who's taking Auntie and her friends to the swap meet?
Grab the keys.
How about we drop these boxes off at Miss Johnson?
Grab the keys.
Whether you're giving rides or hauling gear, you're all about getting things done. So do it all in a Chevy SUV. From the versatile Equinox and sporty Blazer to the roomy Traverse, our lineup of SUVs will carry you through every adventure. All you have to do is
grab the keys.
That's how we do. Head to your local Chevy dealer, where well-qualified buyers get 1.9% APR on all 2024 Silverado 1500, Blazer EV, Equinox, Trailblazer, and Colorado models. Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
1.9% APR for 36 months. Monthly payment is $28.60 for every $1,000 you finance. Example down payment 12.7%. Must finance with GM Financial. Some customers may not qualify. Not available with lease and some other offers. Take new retail delivery by 9/30/24.
Hey, I am D.L. Hughley, host of the D.L. Hughley Afternoon Show, heard weekdays from 2 to 4 exclusively on KBLA Talk 1580. I promise to make you think a little, but laugh a whole lot more. So tune in to the D.L. Hughley Afternoon Show 2 to 4 only on KBLA Talk 1580.
Unmute.
I am back, and Dr. Carlos Hill and Isaac Wilson are joining me in this hour. And in hour two, we're going to be talking to the organizer of the Asian American, more specifically the South Asian American call for Kamala Harris that drew over 12,000 people, and about the importance of Asian American voters in swing states. They are Indians in particular are the fastest growing population of Asians in this country, and they are expected to play a very big role in the election because some of the areas where they've been experiencing the most population growth are those critical swing states like Georgia. So we'll talk to some of their leaders, the leaders of the South Asian American community, about what they are doing to make sure they turn out voters. But tomorrow, the big debate between Donald Trump and Kamala Harris, probably, 20 million plus people. If the ABC is lucky, at least 10 will probably tune in to watch the debate. And KBLA is going to take that debate live and then have a talk back party right after the debate. Dominique DePrima and Tavis Smiley will be talking to voters who will be watching the debate with them and getting their reactions and responses in real time. So make sure you tune in to KBLA Talk 1580 tomorrow for the debate. Tomorrow, Dr. Hill, we know from having watched Trump debate Joe Biden, Donald Trump tells lie after lie after lie, but he does it so quickly and with so much confidence that you believe that it's the truth. And the way he says it without a smile on his face, and then when challenged about it being a lie, he just doubled down more. And we just keep seeing this in his campaigns. They're sending out these leaflets in swing states that tie Kamala Harris to all kinds of policies that she has absolutely, positively nothing to do with. But they give statistics and they make these claims seem like they're real. They've gone so far as they are now promoting this outlandish false claim that Haitian immigrants in Springfield, Ohio, have abducted and eaten their neighbors' pets, all designed to demoralize migrants as they seek to attack Vice President Harris on immigration. I kid you not, a news release from the campaign today recounted the falsehoods, which were amplified earlier in the day by Trump's running mate, J.D. Vance. So, he's saying things like, it's coming to your city next, i.e. these migrants that steal your pets, and then eat them. They'll just steal them. They eat your pets. I mean, so the outlandish nature of these lies seems outlandish to us. But again, if you get a mailer in your mailbox every single day and say that Kamala Harris voted to allow sex abusers, men who rape little girls, to get out of jail early, or that she allowed, murderers to get early bail and early release from jail, all these lies, how are we going to combat just the barrage of lies that are happening every day? Plus, what do you think Kamala Harris does on that stage tomorrow when Trump starts telling the lies about migrants eating pets?
Areva, thank you for the question. And also, I just want to say thank you for that James Earl Jones tribute. That was so beautiful.
Thank you.
Does Kamala Harris have to do on the stage tomorrow and going into October and November? This is what she has to do. Trust. She has to stay focused on her base and the swing voters. Talk to them, not to Trump. Don't talk to him. What Donald Trump wants to do is get her from talking about her base and her swing voters and talking about these conspiracies that are not real. If she talks about that, she's going to lose. If she talks to her voters, her base, and the swing voters that she wants to win, she talks to them, not just tomorrow, but throughout the campaign, she wins. And she might even win easy if she talks directly to Black people, women, and young people, not Trump. Don't talk to him. It's not generative to talk to him, because when you talk to him, you get into the conspiracy. You cannot stay on your message. When you allow Donald Trump to create the headlines, he will win. When you make it about real issues and real people, he cannot, because he can't talk about it. So we can't give him that air and give air to the conspiracy theories. Show him who he is. Someone who's not really a politician, someone who only masquerades as one and uses conspiracy theories as politics. So she got to stay on message.
Yeah, not a serious candidate is what Kamala Harris said, Isaac. Dana Bausch got a lot of flack from the way she handled the recent interview with Kamala Harris at one-on-one that everyone insisted that she do. The debate moderators from that CNN debate with Donald Trump and Joe Biden got a lot of flack for not fact checking Donald Trump in real time. What do you want to see from these ABC moderators tomorrow night?
Just keep it fair. You let Donald Trump talk, let her talk. Donald Trump doesn't stop, don't stop her. So it just needs to be fair on both sides and talk to the issues and fact check. If Donald Trump comes out of his mouth, you stop him and say, President Trump, I'm sorry, but that is a lie. Just tell the truth. Is that you're going candidate, and if Kamala,
but Isaac, if they do that with Trump, literally every statement that he makes, they will be interrupting him and taking up his 2 minutes that he has to respond, or having to give him additional time. And I think that's what the pushback is when moderators get challenged because they haven't fact checked. They're like, look, one, it's not our job, it's the job of the opponent to do that. And two, with a candidate like Trump, he lies so frequently that you can't do. I mean, it would take up the whole debate. Kamala wouldn't get to talk because they would just be fact checking him.
Yeah, I was going to get to that. that if they do that, it will take up the debate time. So that's why some of them probably are saying, let him just fly off the cuffs, and we'll fact check him tomorrow, or we'll have our person come on and do that. But she has to call him out every single time he lies. And And I think she's going to do that. She will be the prosecutor that is prosecuting a case in this debate. And so we'll see that head on.
Yeah, I wonder how come with all the AI and all the technology that we have, how come we can't have a box, like a ticker, tape going across the scene with the screen with fact checking in real time for both candidates, not just him, but for her too. So for American people, when either candidate says, I created more jobs in my administration than any president in the history of the company, it's kind of like a ding that goes off, like ding, 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 ding. No, that's not true. XYZ created the most jobs, because we know by now, Dr. Hill, Trump's lies are part of a playbook that he runs each and every time that he gives a speech. So it's not like you got to sit around and think about, oh, what might he say? Do you have enough time to fact check? There are probably about 20, we'll call them, his greatest hits, that a fact checker could have the facts ready to go in real time. Why do you think we don't see that? Not by the moderators, but I'm saying something that's happening on the screen, like captions on the screen that we can all read in real time.
Areva, I hear you. I would say the answer is political. After the first debate between President Biden and Donald Trump, and we saw the impact of it. We saw it change the election.
Mm-hmm.
These debates are extremely political, and the rules are about power. Who gets to decide and whose advantage is won in a decision. And I think the rules did not. In the first one, Kamala and former President Trump have fought over what the rules are, and neither of them are happy, right, with what the rules are. But that just goes to show you how political and how important these debates, because we haven't given debates this much attention in a long time. It's these debates, right, that have changed. I can't remember when debates changed an election so much was a candidate had to step out because of performance. And so
yeah. No, you're right, Professor Hill. I don't think we can overstate the significance of debates in this presidential cycle. And I agree, used to be, only the nerdy folks, only the insiders watched the debates. You'd catch the zingers on social media. But now the debates have the ability to obviously dictate who is going to be on the ticket and who is not. And we saw with those Republican primary debates, the absence of Donald Trump on the debate stage caused there to be just very, very low interest, low viewership. And the debates ultimately had no impact on any of those candidates because most of them dropped out and eventually had to endorse Donald Trump. When we come forward, we'll talk about big endorsements that Kamala Harris got over the weekend, Dick Cheney, Liz Cheney, and a statement from George Bush about who he is and is not going to endorse in this cycle. Stay with us, KBLA Talk 1580, when we come forward.
Listening to Areva Martin in real time on KBLA Talk 1580.
This is the story of the one. As a facility technician installing a new welding station, he knows getting the ventilation right is critical for safety. That's why when questions arise, there's Grainger. Grainger offers detailed technical product information online at his fingertips, so it's easy to find what he needs. Because when it comes to safety, having answers means he and his people can breathe a little easier. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues?
Who are you?
Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AB.
To help combat climate change, LADWP is helping neighborhoods have better access to electric vehicles
vehicles by awarding nearly $130 million in EV rebates to customers just like you. From big savings on used EVs to building new charging plazas, LADWP is charging ahead to help all Angelinos experience the benefits of EVs. Get rebates of up to $4,000 for a used EV and $1,750 for a charger. Learn more at ladwp.com/EV. That's ladwp.com/EV.
That morning chill means truck season.
5 more minutes.
No snoozing. Do it all in a Chevy Colorado or Silverado, including the class-leading range of the Silverado EV.
Talking to me?
Work, play, hauling, off-roading, a Chevy truck can take it all.
Okay, I'm up.
Get 1.9% financing on all 2024 Silverado 1500 and Colorado pickups when you finance with GM Financial. Chevrolet, together, let's drive.
1.9% APR for 36 months. Monthly payment is $2,860 for every $1,000 you finance. Example down payment 24.5%. Plus finance with GM Financial. Some customers may not qualify. Not available at least in some other offers. Take new retail delivery by 9/30/24.
We're not just a thermometer recording and broadcasting popular opinion.
We aim to be a thermostat.
Transforming the conversation about climate justice in our community. This is KBLA Talk 1580.
Hey, LA residents, it's planting season and the perfect time to get shade trees growing around your home. LADWP and City Plants are giving every resident up to 7 free trees. That's right, 7 free trees delivered right to your door. Trees are great for the environment, help improve air quality, and can help you save on your bill when you use less air conditioning to stay cool indoors. Learn more at ladwp.com/free trees. That's ladwp.com/free trees.
You, as the chair of the Democratic Party of Florence County, South Carolina, know what endorsements do or don't do. Some people say they're overrated, that they don't do much of anything. Others say no, endorsements are critically important. Talk to us about Liz Cheney, Dick Cheney, we haven't heard a whole lot from in the recent years, both endorsing Kamala Harris.
I'm torn on it. I'm happy that she's choosing her country over her party. But on the other hand, I haven't really seen people say, well, hey, I'm voting for Kamala Harris because Liz Cheney is doing it. I haven't seen people, talk about Liz Cheney on television or anything. So I think it's not even, it's news, but I don't think it's moving voters either way. She maybe have a small section of people that are following her, but it hasn't made that big bang. Because if it had, she would have been on the stage in the DNC and not the others that were there. So I don't think it means much.
What do you think, Dr. Hill? Obviously, there are not going to be any Democrats who are going to be fazed by it, other than thinking, thank you, Liz, for choosing your country. But obviously, Donald Trump thought it meant something because he went to social media to trash Dick Cheney. He wasted no time doing that, which he does with everyone, calling the most Republican family on the planet rhinos. So he's defined what it means to be a Republican. And basically, you're not a Republican if you do not support him. So Democrats, you can support Kamala, not support Kamala, you're still a Democrat. We don't say you're not a Democrat. If you support someone that's a Democrat other than Kamala, you support whomever you choose to. But Donald Trump says if you don't support him, you're a rhino. I mean, he trashed Dick Cheney really badly, which is what he typically does. But how important do you think these endorsements might have been for some of those independents and Republicans on the fence?
Well, Reva, this helps us to understand that the Republican Party of the past is not the Republican Party of the present, and is actually not. It's a different party, and so the Cheneys, representing an older party that actually had a platform and fought for things, they're like, no, we're not a part of this. And honestly, that has been comforting to me to see stalwart Republicans who say, this is not what we do. This is something very different. That has been comforting to me because it's helped me to understand what Trumpism truly is. And so this election is truly not about Republicanism. It's about Trumpism. The Republican Party, for all intents and purposes, right now is dead. It's about Trump Trumpism. Will Trumpism in the 2024 election go forward, or will democracy go forward? Liz Cheney, even though she's a conservative Republican, has helped this Black Studies historian understand that there are real stakes in this election. If the so-called Republican Party wins, Trumpism will be what it is for the foreseeable future and into the. If it loses, now we got a conversation. And I hope Liz Cheney, even though I would never be a conservative Republican, come back into the picture. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, folks like George Bush look pretty moderate, pretty reasonable, Isaac, when you think about him compared to Donald Trump. George Bush, not Daddy Bush, son Bush, says, I'm not endorsing Harris or Trump. This is after the Cheney endorsements, and folks were looking to Bush saying, what you gonna do? You know, it's up to you now. And he politely declined. What do you make of Bush declining to endorse? We know he wasn't going to endorse Donald Trump. He didn't do it in any of the former elections, but saying he's not going to endorse Kamala Harris.
I think if you ain't Michelle and Barack, I don't think Bush want nothing to do with you. And he's been out of the limelight. He's done a couple of speeches here and there, but the only people you see him around, politicians, is Michelle and Barack. He come out when they come out. So I don't think it's much because he's been out of the limelight, and he said he was retired from national politics and things like that. So I think he's taking it in stride, saying, "Hey, y'all go ahead and do what y'all do. I'm fine here in Texas. I'm gonna do my thing." So I don't think it needs.
Do you think it would have any weight for someone like him, who, as you said, who's been out of the limelight, hasn't been engaged in any national politics other than hanging out with his pals? You know, might it carry some weight if you had a Bush come out and say, I was so moved by what I am seeing, the destruction of a party that I was firmly, not only a part of, but led for many years. Might that have some weight?
I think it would have had weight if he had said something and had endorsed Kamala, or he just came out and said, hey, the party's different, whatever the case may be. But the fact that he didn't, I don't think it moves the needle either way. So if he did, yeah, it moves the needle. He doesn't, it doesn't mean much.
All right, a little less politics. Got to talk about rapper Kendrick Lamar. He was in a battle with Drake, Dr. Hill, but I guess the fact that he's headlining the Super Bowl tells us who won that little battle.
Drake won.
Oh my God. Drake. Why isn't Drake?
Drake won that battle. Yeah,
Drake won, and he's dancing on his grave.
Oh my goodness, Robert, who are these people? Don't we screen our guests better than this? Drake won. Why is Drake not invited to headline the Super Bowl? Seems like to me, if you won something, you might get the prize.
Drake did not win.
Excuse me?
Drake did not win. He lost.
Oh, okay. You just.
I think Drake won. Drake won that.
You think he won that?
Yeah. Drake didn't even responded to him when he got done with him. He didn't even respond.
Well, let me start, Areva. Let me start. Kendrick Lamar is going to headline the Super Bowl. Kendrick Lamar, since the spring of 24, has been just explosive. Not Like Us is the most popular song in the world, criticizing Drake. And I love Drake, but his, vulnerabilities have been shown by Kendrick Lamar, and he's not the same Drake anymore. But I want to hear how he won. That's what I want to hear it.
He's been vanquished, Isaac. We're sorry. Kendrick beat the boy down so bad, I started feeling sorry for him. I was like, damn, Kendrick, ease up. You got him. He's down.
I'm biased. I am a Drake fan, not a Kendrick Lamar fan. So I am biased. So he won. And that's just gonna be it. That's just
Isaac, the single most potent word, colonizer. Colonizer.
But to go into Louisiana and not pick up I get it, and not pick up the phone and invite Lil Wayne, I think that's a little disrespectful.
Okay.
Disrespectful there.
Isaac, we're gonna have to agree to disagree.
Okay. Kendrick is so transformative, not just his music, as you said, Dr. Hill. He's a transformative rapper. He's really he's an activist. He's an organizer. He brings disparate groups together. Talk about an endorsement that would matter. We've been spending a lot of time talking about, crazy stuff that Ice Cube is saying. Kendrick Lamar is the person who we know people listen to on the streets. He could do a voter registration drive. He could do a get out the vote drive, the likes of which we've never seen, with those voters who are considered sporadic, with those Black male voters who don't see, any future, don't have a lot of hope in our electoral politics. I hope the campaign is putting some energy and time behind him, because he is such a transformative figure. We'll have to have you back, Isaac, after Kendrick just lays out the Super Bowl, has the biggest audience ever, probably breaks all kinds of records.
Let's not get carried away.
Yeah, we run down the street with that one. We're out of time, guys. Thank you so much for joining me on this Monday, getting this week kicked off. Always good to be in conversation with both of you. When we come forward, Asian Americans are playing a big role in this election. Who's organizing them? We have that answer for you when we come forward right here on KBLA Talk 1580. Stay with us.
Thank you for having me, Areva.
Thank you. We'll talk soon.
All righty. You take care.
Thank you.